So let's talk about specific anxieties that I have regarding pregnancy and childbirth. So I made this list of fears and fixes. And after having made that list, you can see the fears are much smaller than the fixes. And that is kind of nice. Kind of, I guess, puts things into perspectives. And I highly suggest that you do this too. If you have a lot of fear happening, put that on paper and work through it. Show somebody you care about and love and who cares about you, and maybe they have some solutions to put on that fixed side for you. So the first thing is nausea. I'm afraid of nausea. I'm afraid that it's going to affect my dedication to my responsibilities. Not necessarily my housework, because I have my husband. He can help clean the house. That's great. It's fine. But in this summer, I am doing school and an internship. And then afterwards, I hope to get a job. So my fear is that nausea is going to affect my dependability, because that's something that I really highly value, is being dependable and showing up. I'm also afraid of lack of nutrition. If I'm nauseous, I'm probably not really going to have much of an appetite to eat. And, worst case scenario, I puke, and then I'm not getting proper nutrition. Now, I know that happens with a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but it happens, and people get through it. So I'm not super concerned about that one, but it is on my radar. I think the biggest thing for me with the nausea is that my anxiety is going to take a steep, steep decline, because we know feeling sick is what triggers my nausea, or what triggers my anxiety very, very strongly. And I'm afraid that that's going to happen. So on the fixed side, the nausea might not be bad. There's a chance that it could just be mild for me. Not everybody gets terrible, terrible nausea. I can't, like I said in my last video, I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst, which I guess isn't very conductive to somebody with anxiety, expecting the worst. But I just don't want to be bamboozled, I guess. I don't know. It might not be that bad. And there are plenty of products to try. The Preggy Pops, the C-Bands, Ginger Chews, all kinds of stuff, acupressure. So I have to remind myself that I'm going to have options. And I very well may find something that really, really helps me. As for my dedication to responsibilities, such as like my job and my school, I have to be hopeful that I am going to be involved with instructors and employers that are understanding. Most people understand, when a pregnant woman is not feeling well, it's for real. And most people have some grace to give them, I guess. I also have to understand that I'm going to have help. I have help, I have help. It's going to be fine. As for the nutrition, I could try meal replacement shakes. That's obviously not a guarantee that it's going to stay down, but it's an option. I have vitamins. I can do meal replacement shakes, because if you don't have an appetite, you just want to drink it, get it done with. Worst case scenario with an anxiety decline is, well, I guess best case scenario is I learn to cope. A lot of times, the best way to learn to do something is to be in the thick of it, to be in the middle of it. So perhaps if I do have a really bad reaction, anxiety reaction, maybe I'm gonna work through it. I'm gonna get through it. And maybe I'm gonna learn new ways to cope and better ways to cope. I don't know. I can't discount myself on that. Worst case scenario, I take medication. Medication either for the nausea or medication for anxiety. Again, I'm trying to stay away from medication for anxiety because it's not really suggested during pregnancy. Some are okay during pregnancy, but only if the benefit outweighs the risk. It's an option. I need to have peace with the fact that that is an option. There's also not as many appointments in the beginning of pregnancy. The nausea is typically most present in the beginning of pregnancy. And there's not very many appointments, not very many places I need to go in the beginning of my pregnancy. And then with that, for this summer, I have a part-time internship, and I'm taking 2 classes. Those are all from home. Again, I don't need to go anywhere. My internship is from home. Yes, it's a responsibility. So, it's on my radar, something that I feel that I need to show up and do my absolute best for, but it is from home, and I am so, so thankful for that. And my classes are from home as well. They're online. And I have to remind myself, I have done worse. I have done so much harder. There was a point in my life where I was working as a server, and I was working probably 30 hours a week. And this place was constantly packed. No hostess, like one runner for an enormous food runner, for an enormous place. And that job was stressful. That was the most money I ever made in my life, but it was so stressful. And I had full-time school on top of that, in-person classes. I can get through that. Even worse. Before I understood that I had issues digesting gluten, you could watch my history video if you want. That'll go pretty in-depth into it. But I was a high school student, so I was full-time in high school, underage, so it's not like I could leave whenever I wanted. So I felt trapped. I was in high school. I did that full-time, and I had a job in person that I was working 19 hours a week on top of that. If I can get through that, I can freaking get through anything, right? Because that is my nightmare. I do not want to go back to that time in my life. It was hard. So if I could do that, I could do this, right? So then my next thing would be anxiety. Let's elaborate on that a little bit. I'm afraid that the anxiety is going to get in the way of my commitments. I am afraid that it's going to be unending. Holy Lord, that was wild. Unending. I'm afraid that the anxiety is going to be unending, because at this point, I know that it comes in waves for me. I know that it gets bad and then it goes away and then I'm good. What's funny is at the end of January, beginning of February, I felt like I was so free. I felt like I was free of anxiety, and I just felt so light, and I felt fantastic. And that is when I decided it's our time. I think that we need to just start trying for a baby. And then I came back. And during that time, I felt so silly. I'm like, I feel like it's completely gone. I feel so free. I feel like I've had an epiphany. But in the back of my mind, I knew it was going to come back. But anyway, yeah, it came back. But what I'm afraid of is, especially with these pregnancy hormones, who the hell knows what's going to happen? I don't know if it's going to cause it to be longer stretches of being present, of being there, longer stretches of peaks as opposed to the normal levels. I don't know, and that scares me. But on the fix-it side, other people have this too. Other people have gone through this too. If they can do it, I can do it. And then my fear would be not being able to take care of my baby well, I guess. And I know this doesn't compare, really, but my dog Zeppelin, that pretty girl right there, that pretty girl, I have had her since 2015, so it's been almost 6 years now. And she is the cleanest, healthiest, most spoiled dog you'll probably ever meet. And I've had lots of battles with anxiety, but she always comes first. I've been able to take care of her. I've been able to take her to the vet, even on emergency situations. I've been able to do that. That to me says that I will be able to do this for a child as well, or at least suggest, because like I said, it's not the same. You can't compare an animal to a human child, of course, but I'm kind of grasping at any little way to logic it to myself. And then again, medication. Even if I have to wait until after pregnancy, the pregnancy is temporary. I can get on medication after if that is what I need. Obviously, we'll have to talk to the doctor about breastfeeding with medication, but even if it is more important that I get on medication than me breastfeeding, and if I ever release this to the public, I know I'm going to get some freaking trash talk, and that's fine. That's your problem, not mine. But anyway, even after, it's more important for me to get on medication than to breastfeed, that baby's going to be fed. That baby's going to be loved. That baby's going to be fed. That baby is going to have a healthy, happy mother. That is important. And then the worst case scenario, I back out of some things. I back out of school. I reintroduce school when I'm ready. It's okay. School will always be there. I back out of Color Street work. That's okay. I can always join back if I want to, and it's not the end of the world. I know I've built something and I love it, but if that is what I need, if that is what my child needs, I will do it. It's okay. If I need to back out of work, it's gonna be okay. We can scrape by. It would be ideal if I didn't back out of work, and I did work at least part-time. That's my plan right now, is to work part-time. It'll be okay. We have savings. I can try to find some other little tiny side job things. We have family. It's gonna be okay. The baby's health is more important than any of those things. I can jump back into any of those things pretty much at any time. And yeah, like I said, we have help. So then my next anxiety would be appointments. As we know, traveling stresses me out, even if it's 20 minutes in town. But what I have to remember is I used to go to a job like all the time before. I can go to appointments because these appointments are to accommodate me, If I can go to a job where I am accommodating others and I have a duty to be there for like hours on end, I can go to an appointment where they're accommodating me. I can do it. It's fine. Probably the most extreme thing I have anxiety over is if something goes wrong, or if something doesn't feel right and I have to go into triage at the hospital and get checked out. Like I said, medical emergencies are like instant, I'm gonna puke type anxiety reaction. So that scares me the absolute most. When you go in, it's high emotion, high fear, high stress, and I feel trapped. Because obviously I need to stay there. I can't just leave whenever I want. I need to stay there until I get an answer or come to some conclusion. On the fix-it side, I have to remember it is unlikely, and if it does happen, it's infrequent. And it is temporary. It's not, again, with the anxiety thing, with anxiety, you take on everything, every fear all at once as if it's all going to happen at the same time. And that is not reality. That is so not reality. You deal with things one thing at a time. And then, of course, I like to say I don't have fear around the birth. I don't have fear of pushing a child out of my vagina. That doesn't scare me. I can handle pain. I honestly plan to get an epidural, particularly because I have such insane anxiety that I think that the epidural will be the right choice for me. Again, if I put this on the internet, some people are probably going to be giving me some trash talk. And again, that's your problem, not mine. But anyway, I think that an epidural is going to be something that helps me. But I'm not afraid of pushing out the child. I am afraid of feeling trapped, of that high emotion, intense event that is deciding to go to the hospital and then getting there. And oftentimes, especially with your first child, it takes a while. Labor is long. Obviously, that doesn't mean that that's absolutely going to be what happens for me, but it's most likely that it's going to be a while that I'm there. And I hate feeling trapped. That's how I felt in high school, is I felt trapped all the time. But I'm scared. I'm scared of hospitals, which is stupid because, one, my first career choice was nurse, so that's kind of hilarious. And two, I volunteered at a hospital for months and months and months. Like I've been in the hospital, like, working. Why am I think it's mostly just the fact that it is emotional and an intense situation that makes the hospital scary for me. And the trapped feeling, of course. So on the fix-it side, what I have been told that has helped is that, you know, when the time comes, when you're in labor, you're ready, most women feel excited for it to be over and to meet your baby. So I'm trying to hold on to that and, I don't know, internalize that and convince myself that that is what it's going to be. I'm going to manifest it. That is what I'm going to feel. That is what I'm going to decide to feel. Sometimes for me to cope, I have to just not think about things. That's how I was with the wedding, I think, is if I didn't picture it, I was fine. So I just need to stop convincing myself that I'm going to feel this way, that I'm going to have this reaction. We know logically it's likely that I mean, I've had that reaction to every other instance that's been that way. So logically, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful to think that way. It's helpful to have faith in myself and to believe that I can do it and that I'm going to get through it. So the next thing on the fix-it list is to try to labor at home. I feel like it's a little easier said than done, especially because when it's your first, you don't really know what to expect. But you know, there are ways you can time your contractions. It's a 4-1-1 rule. I believe it is, I just had to Google it real quick just to be sure. But it is contractions 4 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute each for an hour. That's kind of the rule of thumb. I am so thankful that we have so many resources now. We can Google things, and that's fantastic. Our parents, or probably our parents' didn't have that. I'm 24. I'm not that young, I swear. Anyway, laboring at home. I have to kind of put myself in the mindset that I can do the majority of the labor at home. I live about 20 minutes away from my hospital, so that's not that far. I know in J-Brain that feels like a forever drive, but it's not that far. I don't really have many hospitals that are closer. That would be really nice if there were, but there's not. That's okay. I'm rolling with it. And I have to remember that when I go into the hospital, this whole interaction is to accommodate me and baby. This is not me doing a service for somebody else. This is not me having a responsibility or dedication to someone else. This is for me. So this is about my comfort and about baby's comfort. I have to remember that. And one of the biggest things is I have to remember I'm going to be safe at the hospital with professionals and with a great team and excellent care and all the resources. I'm going to be safe there. I might actually use that as a mantra. Going in is I am safe. That might be a good one. Yeah, let's jot that down. Anyway, the last one, let's talk about postpartum. Like I've said in videos before, I'm not really afraid of taking care of a baby. I feel that that kind of comes naturally to me. I have some decent experience with it. I have heard so many fears and stories and trials from other mothers around me that I feel fairly prepared for that. What I'm scared of is trying to care for the baby when I'm feeling yucky. That scares me. I know that you just push through and you just do it. On the fixed side, I have help. What do you know? I have help. I have to remember I have help. Nobody is expected to do absolutely everything by themselves alone constantly. It takes a village, right? So I have help. I will adapt. Babies don't really need very much. It's not the same as like going to work and working a cash register where people are constantly coming towards you while you're sick. It's not that. A baby eat, sleep, poop, cry. That's what they do. They don't need a whole heck of a lot. They need your love and they need your calm. And they need taken care of, but it's not. Being a cashier scared me, honestly. That like having a line of people, I'm gonna be fine. The other thing to remember is it's normal. It's totally normal to be sick and have to take care of your baby. It's normal to feel inadequate as a mother. From what I gather, most mothers do feel that way from time to time. So it's normal. Just knowing that it's normal kind of helps. And then the last thing is my goal is to work from home. If I can work from home, that takes away a hell of a lot of stress from me and a lot of anxiety. And I have to believe that I can secure a job that is work from home, even if it's not in this field. I think that that is what I need in order to survive, I guess. It sounds crazy, but yeah, that's what it is. Another one would be traveling with baby. As we know, traveling is something that really, really bothers me and stresses me out. Add in a baby with that. That's like a whole nother level of nightmare to me. But I'm kind of thankful to this pandemic in a way that it's become normalized to do things from home now, like shopping and getting like just going and picking up your food instead of going out and the whole excursion and everything. And like virtual parties and all kinds of stuff. And I am so thankful that we have a nice, modest, cozy home in which I can host. Because if I need to like throw a baby shower or a birthday party or something, or do dinner with somebody and they agree to come to my house for it, like most people would be stressed out about that, but that is like the ideal situation for me. And it's kind of silly, but like when people come to me, it's such a relief to me because I'm home. I don't have to travel anywhere. And so if you're my family or friends watching this and you guys come to me, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Yeah. I had to throw this in after the fact because I forgot to mention this, but there comes a point in each of the times that we've tried to conceive. So last month, February, we tried to conceive. That was month number 1. We are in month number 2. This is March. I'm ovulating today. And both of these times I've had a moment where I felt panic. Like, is this really what I want to do right now? Am I really ready for this? Holy shit. I don't know if I should be doing this. And I've spoken to Andrew about it, my husband. And he said that these times when I'm questioning this are the times that I am having an anxiety spike. And the majority of the time, this is something that I want, and I need to listen to the majority of the time. I need to understand that when I have these anxiety spikes, it's like a different version of myself almost. And I need to determine which one is the real me, I guess, for lack of better term. And that's what I've told him, is that it feels extremely real. This fear is real. This doubt is very real to me. And honestly, I had a point where I had said that it would be easier if I just accidentally got pregnant. In January, I had said it would be easier if I just accidentally got pregnant, because then I wouldn't have to pick the perfect time. I wouldn't have to, decide whether I'm making the right decision or not, because it wouldn't be a decision if it's an accident. And that's kind of when I realized that, you know what, like if I'm wishing that I accidentally become pregnant, that's what I want, right? So that's kind of when we decided, let's do it. So just a side note, just a thought, that if you are having moments of I'm scared shitless and I don't know if this is the right decision, consider the thought that you have the most of the time. When you are level, when you're not on a peak, when you are level, I feel like that is kind of my true self. I am very ambitious when I'm on level, and I think that is my true self. I think that is the side that I need to nurture. That was more of Andrew's point, is which side do you want to nurture? When you're level-headed and calm, or when you're frantic and having anxiety? So, and I think that's about it for this video. I highly, highly suggest that you do this same format. Get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, write your fears. On the right-hand side, write your fixes, and keep it. Keep it. And if you're having a hard time, go back and reread it. And it helps me to kind of soothe me and logic things out. So I hope that this video helps somebody. It's probably going to be a long one, I think. Sorry. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I really hope this helps somebody. And yeah.